That's my China card. Now we understand what's going on with China. Shows up with peculiar people like Chris Kobach, Chow, Matt Gaetz. The burdens that they carry because they have an op against the United States of America for payments to and from China, tariffs because of Trump. The base of this is Putin. Putin and China putting the squeeze on the United States for her money, and Donald's getting away with it. I wanted more clarification on the Ace of Cups because Lavrov came and installed that this week, delivering it. I need to look at Elaine Chao. This is because Donald had a tower moment, I believe, related to his impeachment. Things that happened leading to the impeachment, because right now this is Speaker Pelosi leading the impeachment. The challenge is changing minds and changing perspectives, because it's leading to the impeachment and everything being revealed about Donald and probably Joe Biden. At the root of this is the lovers, Trump, Russia. Clarifiers, the op. This is China and blending or cooperating between them. The moon card means the squeezes the United States with Russia, Putin, for payments from Donald. So they're not going to get money anymore. I need to know more about what this does because Esper, Sheldon Adelson, and others know what this does. I want to know what this does. This is what the Ace of Cups does. Because this is a fool. This is Donald Trump. Things are happening. He's getting impeached. I believe there's indictments on him. I wanted to know what this does because Lavrov installed it. What was the function? Up here, temperance. Think of cooperation, how Putin uses cooperation. Blending, cooperating, money, payments, tariff, trade. The High Priestess, always communications going back to Russia. Rebecca Mercer, directly to Putin. So it goes in that direction. Here's the shadow government. Rebecca Mercer takes care of that. Now, here we have Donald desperately trying to hang on to what he has. He has intelligence, information, digital. We have a mountain of data, things that have yet to manifest, money that has to get kicked back to him. Candidate Donald, because things are happening really, really fast with impeachment. Now, both of these lines merge on the other side to lead to justice. It could be the Justice Department. Is this Bill Barr? Yes and no. I guess maybe, is this the shadow justice? Yes, the shadow justice, the things that are going on behind the scenes that he's interfering with. Republican Party, but they're also involved with children that are bound up at the border going to China. Or it's a Republican Party, their debts to China. I guess maybe this is how they blend the laws so Bill Barr makes things happen that are legal and how it's disguised. And that's justice. We clarified that is either the Republican Party or children that are bound up or Republican debts to China or children going to China. There's that balancing of money, the two of pentacles we always see. It's because money and values are being blended from there, here, being rerouted to justify all of this cooperation. So on paper, it's okay, it's legal, it's justified. And you're going to have the Republican Party backing it up. Beneath this right now is Speaker Pelosi, and they cannot take action because this is Donald Trump, who is always making offers, blocked by Pelosi, but somehow this is agency money and it's people who are isolated at the border, our immigration problem, how we divide people and split them into the haves. You have liberty, you do not. You're a citizen, you are not. At the basis of this is the op. That's why they need this justice card, so that they can make everything work. The clarifiers on the Five of Pentacles now is Putin. Putin dividing, separating people. Seven of Cups has to do with human trafficking. This is what it all means. So the Ace of Cups, a device that somehow separates these things. It's the dual governments, the one on the surface that we have for us that comes and makes sense, but that's what they've hit with Pelosi. And payment still has to get to Putin. So do children. The Republican Party is so complicit in this. This is such a mess. This is a total takeover. And that's what Putin does. He runs parallel governments, what the people see on the surface and what he's doing behind the scenes. And Donald is doing that exactly here. We are so much like Russia, we don't even see it. I ask Mark Esper, Defense Secretary Esper, what does this Ace of Cups mean to him? This is shocking. Card on the bottom, Donald hanging on, and it's also about consolidating power. Because in the past, choices have been made. This also has to do with Russian sanctions. There's also Russian sanctions because Donald had to agree to some sanctions last fall. That's why we had the flybys with the Russian jets that were intercepted by Canadian and U.S. F-16s that were scrambled. That was the day, August 8th. I think Gordon or DNI Coates said Gordon needed to resign, or she was thinking about resigning. Now we're dealing with judgment. The challenge was a world card with ending things. And I was like, was this ending, bringing everything to an end, or is this Coke? Because this is a Coke card, and I could feel both those energies. Well, end the Tower. The challenge is a judgment that Donald and all of them are facing because of sanctions with Russia, which is leading back now again to candidate Donald and more news from Russia. At the base of this, we have the Strength card, which is Russian strength. You do this for me, you get the backing of Russia's strength. And that leads to more mind games, captivity, Republican Party, children. I don't know if this is mind games and children or the Republican Party, mind games, Republican Party. They're kind of the same to me at this point because we know this trafficking thing is going on. So the Ace of Cups I know is also a communication device. So I want to know, what is this news from Russia? Well, the Five of Swords. Not only is this winning unfairly, this is the mafia communicating with the mafia on the ground so that they don't get caught with intercepts, because it was a problem with Lev and Igor. And those that are fulfilling the Trump-Russia promise to each other, because Donald is done, he's getting impeached, and they need to be able to transmit information electronically, whether it's crypto intelligence, but they also need to keep transmitting humans to Russia, China, and Saudi. I asked Speaker Pelosi, what does this Ace of Cups represent to her? Strength, Russian strength, is the card on the bottom. It's because in the past, Donald is done, Ten of Swords in his back, which has led now to the offering with Russian strength to balance money and information, but the challenge is delivering it. So she understands the Ace of Cups has to do with delivering of information, money, to win the election. The election is happening quickly, so there's an opt-out to bind up voters by Russia and magically fixing elections. Is this Bill Barr? No. Is this Kim? This is Kim Jong-un. So she is seeing it as a means to have the elections fixed. Okay. So what is at the root of this? Fighting, spies, psyops, intelligence, disinformation, all that being committed on the United States. How they use data, they work really, really hard to use data, transform data with campaigns. With Rebecca Mercer in its different forms. So the timing is right. It helps the Trump dynasty. So she sees this more as an effort to share information to win elections. There's not really anything in here about balancing money, debts that are owed, how it relates to China and Putin, and leveraging money out of the U.S., as well as children and the Republican Party. Whew, okay, this makes me feel a little bit better because Nancy only seemed to have part of the information. This is what I'm asking the FBI, what they know. I might have asked the intelligence communities, but I last heard FBI come out of my mouth while I was doing these. It has to do with agreements. Because in the past, something happened with timing for the Trump dynasty, Trump organization, and the challenge is trying to keep balance, the cooperation, the agreements with the money going back and forth, which led to Donald's indictments. Fool is always indictments for me. There are so many sealed indictments out of New York and EDVA. We know that Donald is individual one, leading to a new way, a new action to communicate, to take action. News with Russia, China, secret talks, transmittal of information, money, digital, children. And or the Republican Party is doing this as well, but this is people leaving. It's at the root of this, the sanctions. Donald had to break apart their agreement because of the sanctions back in the fall. And Justice taking care of this. I wanted to know who was behind Justice. What type of justice is this? Russian strength type of justice for King of Pentacles Donald and money going back and forth. This is Bill Barr. So of course my next question was then, FBI, what are you doing about this Ace of Cups and justice? It's happening, this parallel justice that Bill Barr is leading. So I made these as the signifier and asked what is crowning them. The Tower. The Tower is the impeachment. It's everything that we're going through right now. The question is, now what? What are you going to do about it? It has to do with timing. Because in the past, they have evidence of all this stuff being transmitted abroad, electronic, digital, people, human, cables, people visiting, dropping things off, Bill Barr going on his world tour, everyone that's traveled abroad. Rand Paul, senators to Moscow on July 4th, etc. The challenge with these two are their agreements with Russia, which led to the Ten of Swords, which is Ten of Swords and the government. The question is now what? What are you doing about it? Well, we have candidate Donald. This is why he has 10 swords in his back. Candidate Donald, the moneyed agreements, the Trump crime syndicate, the Trump organization, the Trump campaign, the Republican Party. Is this children? Republican Party? Yes. Children? Children is fuzzy. And the agreements. The government. I thought this was going to be the Queen of Pentacles, Rebecca Mercer, but this is Speaker Pelosi with receipts, correct? Yes, and yes, is this Rebecca Mercer? I'm getting half Rebecca Mercer, half Pelosi. Is it another woman? Yes. Who? G-string. Is this G-string? G-string. The offers that were made in the courts, Donald hanging on. Is this SDNYS? EDB? Does this have to do with what G-string has on Mr. Epps? Yes. Okay, so there's two paths that are being taken with this, with the FBI. At the root of this is happening quickly because of Putin, the cooperation, the money going back and forth and being laundered. That's how the FBI said. I asked, what are you going to do about it? We need to find out about her. Okay. G-string. Pulled her out. Bottom of the card is the Fool. This is Donald Trump indicted. And the original question was the route with the government with G-string. Because in the past, we have the Chariot, things moving really quickly. Because right now, the Knight of Swords. These are like all the little mafiosos on the ground, everywhere around the globe, hunting down. The challenge is the Page of Pentacles. The moneyed records, the moneyed news, which is leading to Speaker Pelosi. At the very root of this are the Knight of Wands, people taking action. Beyond the mafiosos, those are people in higher positions. They could be government officials around the world. Because of the news coming out of Russia, Saudi, all the secret talks and secret money, going back to the Six Wands mob. This is a global operation. People who are associated with the Six Wands mob. Trump, Putin, Unji, Netanyahu, MBS, Erdogan, etc., etc. Anyone who has moneyed interests with them are wanting to take action because there's a challenge for them trying to locate all the moneyed records. Because in the past, the Chariot, things are moving so quickly because there's so much information. It's a total nightmare on how to end this. They want to end this. So there's Ghislaine. Things in action quickly. People are in search for the moneyed records. Here's Speaker Pelosi. Future. We have the Emperor Donald. Everything's going to be revealed. She knows how they've been trying to blend information and documents. The timing of it all the money and power it's related to globally, and how people are trying to obstruct this, not only with the government, but with their victims. Wow. Okay, continuing. This is Ghislaine G-string. Remember, the Fool was at the bottom of the deck. She led to the Queen of Wands, the Knight of Cups, which is Donald's offers, the Queen of Swords, which are the courts, and then the Four of Pentacles. So this part is about the Knight of Cups, Donald making offers. Card on the bottom is the Five of Cups. Now remember, the Five of Cups has to do with, I think, was it China? Oh, I didn't tell you this part. It has to do with how they're balancing money and agreements. The Five of Wands, King of Cups, the President of the Office of the United States, elections, and Moon. So the Five of Cups has to do with the obstruction that we continuously get, but that's at the behest of the King of Cups, Putin, related to the Office of the President of the United States and their agreements with China. Donald is in between these two things. Okay, so G-string has information on how Donald works with Russia and China on that. So the Knight of Cups has to do, G-string knows about the offers he's made, that he has major financial burdens crowning him, and in the past he committed treason. Donald's challenge is trying to change minds about what's going on. So the offers he's made has been to the Five of Swords, which is the mafia. It also includes Manafort. It includes Manafort. I don't know if this includes Flynn, Rudy, all the mafiosos, and the things he's forced on other people, do this or else. So the offers, like with Manafort, Flynn, mafiosos, that had to do with the mercenaries, Knight of Pentacles, think like Eric Prince, Pompeo, so that they can carry out Donald's ops. This is like his shadow defense, if you will. The Four of Cups are demanding something. This is what I'm going to do, and you're going to do this. We have death, if Donald needs someone killed, something stolen for Putin. This is what G-string has on him. Because at the very basis of this, the foundation of this, is the Eight of Cups. Donald's going to have to leave someday, but he needs to set stuff up for Putin, keep him happy. Trump, Russia, Seven of Cups. Seven of Cups shows up with trafficking. And you know what kind of trafficking G-string does. This is what she has on Donald. Okay, my head is spinning. Okay, so the G-string also led to the Queen of Swords. She led to what she knew, the Queen of Wands, Pelosi, the Knight of Cups, Donald and his offers, the Queen of Swords, which is SDNY, and the fourth one, I forget what that is, but that's coming up next. Because Donald is indicted. The Fool is always indictment. Card on the bottom is the Strength card. Now, SDNY, the courts, they're covered in all of Donald's financial burdens. That's what G-string knows. What's crowning the courts? All of the secret talks and the timing. So I'm assuming records. They have records of all of this. Because in the past, G-string knows about the ops that have been going on. The actions, the plans. Donald has 10 swords in his back. Those are the mercenaries that he's hired to cover him. That has led to now all of the forced agreements, if you will, because they have yielded a lot of money, and this money has separated a lot of people from their money. So in the past, the opposite of in taking, what he's done to people and their money, which has led to the Sun, Revelations, King of Wands, Angry Putin. The other thing that G-string has with what's being revealed about him, Four of Pentacles, how he's always maintained his money, how he's always done this throughout history. I keep seeing like all of his towers in the back that he's built, his history of everything he's done. With Putin, she knows the end, the world. Is this Coke? Is this Rod? Coke. Coke. I think this is the Coke Bros. Endings, Coke Bro. I think it's Coke because we have the Ten of Cups, the Republican Party. She knows that influence. She knows about the influence with Bill Barr Justice and then his minions. This is what G-string knows, or the information that she has, which is corroborated and led to all that, and how it's influenced governments worldwide. Can you believe this? Last but not least, we have what Donald's sitting on. How he uses his power and his money all these years. And what does Ghislaine have on him? Remember, the original thing was that he's indicted. This is what Ghislaine, G-string, has on him, which led to the Queen of Wands, the Queen of Swords, this Four of Pentacles, and what was right before that? Led to the Queen of Wands, Knight of Cups, Queen of Swords, and Four of Pentacles. So, Donald, this is what Ghislaine knows, that he's covered in the Six Wands mob. And she knows that what's crowning him is his impeachment. Furthermore, she knows what happened in the past with Donald. Now, this can be agency money. It can be separating families. It can be the church. But overall, this involves bribes and money exchanges. When I asked for the clarifiers on what happened to in the past with the Five of Pentacles, I got the Trump crime syndicate, the Trump dynasty, the Knight of Wands, those people in government that take action for him because of Putin. So the people that take action for him because of Putin, that's where you get like the Mick Mulvaney's, you get Pompeo, you get Rudy Giuliani, you get all of them, Eric Prince. Well, he's more of a mercenary. But all these people that act on behalf of him because of Putin, because Putin needs stuff set up between the both of them, especially with the Justice Department, Bill Barr, and what's going back to protect Putin and BS. So she knows about this long history with Putin and BS, and now it's touching our government agencies and our policies. And what's to come from that, the Five of Swords. This is like your Rudy Giuliani, your Manafort, your Flynn, Levin Igor, all the mafiosos that are involved with the shadow government that are there to carry out, and I think this has to do with Mr. Epps, his death, carried out by the Trump campaign, Trump crime syndicate, and trying to blend that, what happened to him, with suiciding himself in jail, the hangman. This is always my person who's just died. Obviously, Mr. Epps, because he suicided himself by hanging. This is all that Ghislaine has. No wonder she was coming up for me so much recently. And here she comes again. We really need these eclipses and the eclipse energies to propel us forward because we're running out of steam and gas. And that's what eclipses do. They propel us forward.